KALISHA Rochelle SEDDENS-DUNN Brown was born on January 29th. I'm not sure what year because I didn't see the year in my research, but that's her birth date. And she was a mother of 3 beautiful children whom she had with her husband, NATORIUS Tory Brown, also known as DJ T Gutta. She was from St. Louis, Missouri, and unfortunately, I couldn't find too much about KALISHA's life other than her being a wife and a mother, so I cannot speak too much of her background, but I can get into the story of how someone she trusted with her life would be the one to end her life before ending their own. It was Sunday, June 9th of this year, when everyone was minding their business on social media, scrolling their phones, making up some Sunday dinner, when NATORIUS went on Facebook and shocked everyone by writing a very lengthy post detailing his frustrations for his employer / homeboy / family member at this point almost, rapper Webbie. This caught everyone off guard because NATORIUS has been working for Webbie for years and years and years. Everything seemed to be okay, of course, if you're looking from the outside looking in. But when he wrote this post, everybody was tuned in and everybody was shocked. And then everybody was even more shocked by the events that happened shortly after he wrote this post. So he wrote this post to speak about Webbie, whose real name is Webster Gratney Jr. And Webbie is from Louisiana. He's known for his titled singles Independent featuring Boozy and Little Fat, and another song called Gimme That featuring Bun B. The post was a rant filled with venting about feeling unappreciated, the inability to spread his wings and work for other artists, the lack of pay from Webbie, how stressful the environment was, calling it a quote-unquote living hell, and how it affected everyone around them. So verbatim, this is what NATORIUS wrote. He said, quote, "Dog, DJing for Webbie is a living hell. First, that nigga don't want to pay. Then, that nigga don't want to see nobody around him shine. Like nobody, not even his own brother. Why y'all think everybody left from around him? I was only supposed to be his tour DJ, but I had to be a driver, a doctor, a security, a PR, a babysitter, a booking agent, a referee, a counselor, a road manager, and a list of other things. But yet, this nigga didn't appreciate none of it. I did all that shit with a smile on my face in front of thousands every night, but I was dying inside. All the times he had seizures on the planes, on stages, in the hotels. Who y'all think was there? Me. Because his family ain't want to deal with him, or nobody on our team wanted to deal with him but me. Our driver quit because he ain't want to pay him. Then every time we would try to make our money in other ways, he always found a way to stop that too. So it's like he don't want to pay, but he don't want us eating nowhere else. Then the nigga want to get mad at in his feelings when Boozy need us to help him. The nigga a straight hater. I can't remember how many times he told me he don't want nobody blowing up off his name. That's why he don't do features and he don't like taking pictures with other artists or fans. I think they trying to get shine off him. It was days I straight dreaded going on tour with him. The nigga complains about everything. Being around him is like having to take care of my kids. We had to remind him every day to take his medicine or to not do some stupid shit. The nigga would do some stupid kitty shit and be like, "Gotta record me doing this." And the shit will never get better because his brother Derek just makes excuses for him, even though he be mad he don't pay him either. The shit on the road was so bad, our longtime manager had a stroke and all. Then the producer for Savage Life 6 had a brain aneurysm or something in that nature because he was stressed and all. Webbie wanted him to produce the whole album but not pay and didn't want to do the split sheets or nothing. Say, "It's my songs, I should get all the money." And yes, he has a health issue that causes him to have seizures, but they get 10 times worse when he snort that dope. He gotta be the worst artist to DJ for. Yes, I DJ'd for him for 10 years, but I was always hoping it would get better or another major artist would recognize my talent, but he blocked everything. I never asked dude for shit. I came around with my own everything. That super unit shit is the biggest piece of bull. That shit is only designed so Derek can get paid while everybody else do the work. He promises to help artists, but never do. It was some good times, but it was more bad times than anything. I never in my life met somebody that complained more than him. The nigga's straight up miserable. End quote. Now, shortly after posting this message, just after noon, Cobb County Police responded to a phone call about hearing several gunshots at a home on Forest Hill Road in Powder Springs, Georgia. They pulled up to the home of Notorious and KALISHA, where they found a woman deceased from a gunshot wound, as well as a man with a gunshot wound in his mouth who was rushed to Wellstar Kenshaw Hospital in critical condition, but later succumbed to his injury. Police determined that the man, Notorious, took the woman's life, KALISHA being his wife, before turning the weapon on himself and ending his own life. Neighbors were in shock. They described just seeing the children playing outside, living their best little innocent, happy lives, and now they'll have to grow up without either of the parents knowing what happened to them both. Neighbors said this tragedy caught them off guard because the couple seemed to be a happy, normal couple. They said KALISHA was a sweetheart. She was a seemingly good, active mom. And people in the music industry and the hip-hop community were shocked to hear the news of what happened. People on social media were upset, leaving comments under the post that Notorious left, saying he was selfish, he shouldn't have taken his wife's life, and instead should have just taken his own and left her alone. They even implied that he should have took Webby's life, at least, if anything. And, they were calling Notorious a coward. An investigation has been launched to dig further into the motives behind the homicide and self-inflicted death. But as of today, as I record my voice and you hear me speaking to you, according to sportskeeda.com, police believe a possible argument could have happened between the couple, and that may have been what caused Notorious to lose his cool. Now, when this news came out, of course, there was plenty of speculation. Some of the theories mentioned by the public were people believing that Notorious may have been afraid of Webby coming after him and his family due to him exposing him. So out of fear and desperation, he took both himself and his wife out. Some say he had a psychotic break. Some feel like what investigators said was true about him blacking out during an argument. One of the theories that caused controversial conversations online is that Notorious was taken out to silence him after exposing his woes with Webby. People were saying Webby probably set him up to be executed along with his wife, and it was staged to look like a, take you and me out type of thing. A colleague of Notorious named Porsche Madre, who worked with him, said that Notorious was a family man. She said whenever he wasn't working, he was with his wife and his children, and he enjoyed being with them the most. She said anytime she saw he and his wife together, they would be vibing, they would be chilling. She said she never saw any energy surrounding them that seemed to be off or as if they were unhappy at all. A balloon release candlelight vigil was held for KALISHA Thursday evening, June 20th in St. Louis, where everyone was instructed to show up in her favorite colors, a hunter forest green and black. As I sit here and do research while we approach the month of August, there are still no reports of Webby speaking up about this tragedy. And just to give a briefing about Notorious's history DJing, according to Notorious himself during an interview, he began his career making mixtapes in 2001 of some of the hottest rappers at the time. And if you are unfamiliar with this, back in the day, mixtapes weren't what you see some artists doing now. Back then, you either had the artists themselves putting out a variety of their best tracks on a CD, or you had DJs making a mixtape CD with various artists on it. Notorious had been doing that and traveling for 10 years before he finally linked up with Webby in 2011. And shout out to the channel called The Family here on YouTube. That's where I got this interview clip from.
You getting that momentum, you out there.
Yep.
Boom. When you run into Webby?
Webby, 2011. 2011. That's when I, that was my first show doing with him. I was actually on the radio out here, doing college radio. And, his brother, his brother D, and Super Unit, whatever, that's his brother that handled all his business.
Right.
He was setting up a show out here, and they needed a DJ out, for the show. D came to do an interview on my station, and we linked in right there, bro. Like,
So, familia, this is a sad story all around. It's a shorter story, but, still very much impactful. Notorious was obviously under an insane amount of pressure while working with Webby. One of the things that stuck out to me in his post was how he said he was dying inside. And that's a very strong statement to make when you're doing anything and you feel like you're dying inside. It sounds like you might just damn near be ready to go. The way that he described being stuck working with him, caring for him like a child, playing all of these different various roles for Webby, not being able to make no money elsewhere, playing nurse and doctor and all of these things. It just sounds like it was more of an underpaid caregiver versus being a DJ. And I'm inclined to believe a lot of what he said since he had been working with and for Webby for so long. Now, obviously, I don't know the reason behind him offing his wife and himself. None of us do. And truth be told, in my opinion, there is no reason that's good enough. Those 3 children that he created deserve to have both of their parents, period. The neighbors even said they would always see the children living their best innocent young lives, like I mentioned earlier. And now look at how they have to grow up, with trauma for the rest of their lives. So it's just a really sad story. Familia, at this point in the video, I'm going to ask you guys for your opinions. Do y'all believe Notorious was afraid of whatever consequences that he could have faced for exposing Webby the way that he did, and that's why he took both he and his wife's lives? Do you think Webby set it up for it to appear as though that's what happened, hence his silence during this time? Do you believe what Notorious did was selfish and cowardly, and there was no secret motive or no conspiracy theory? He just couldn't handle the pressure. Do you believe that he had a psychotic break? Let me know what you believe to be true in the comments. My heart goes out to both parties' loved ones, especially their children. God bless those babies. I pray that they get all the support that they need. And condolences to Notorious's family, regardless of how or why this happened. I know that you are all hurting too. Rest in peace to KALISHA, SEDDENS-DUNN. You'll never be forgotten.